Hello everyone, and welcome to Synapse. Today, we are diving into an incredibly dynamic aspect of our planet's system, winds. In Class 9 Biology, understanding how Earth's energy and matter interact to create life-sustaining conditions is key. Winds are a perfect example of this. We'll explore how unequal heating, convection currents, and even large-scale phenomena like monsoons shape our world. Get ready for an exciting journey through the easy, medium, hard, and hardest levels of this fascinating topic. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is wind, and why does it blow? It's simpler than you think, and it all begins with the sun. Wind is simply air in motion. Imagine air as a fluid, constantly moving around us. The primary cause of this movement is the sun's energy, which heats our Earth unevenly. Think about it, land heats up much faster than water, and areas near the equator get more direct sunlight than the poles. When air gets warm, it becomes lighter and rises, creating a low-pressure area. Conversely, cool air is heavier and sinks, forming a high-pressure zone. Nature always tries to balance things, so air naturally flows from high-pressure areas to low-pressure areas. This constant movement is what we feel as wind. This movement of air in a continuous loop, warm air rising, cooling, and then sinking, is called a convection current. A great example is a sea breeze. During the day, land heats faster than the sea. The warm air above the land rises, creating low pressure. The cooler, denser air from over the sea then rushes in to fill that space, giving us a refreshing sea breeze. At night, the opposite happens, creating a land breeze. On a much larger scale, we have monsoons. These are giant seasonal winds caused by the massive temperature differences between continents and oceans over months. In summer, land heats up, creating low pressure, drawing moist air from the ocean and bringing heavy rains. In winter, land cools, creating high pressure, and dry air blows out to sea. Now, let's test your understanding of these fundamental concepts. Take a moment to answer these three questions based on what we've just discussed. Think about the primary cause of wind, how convection currents work, and the basic similarity between monsoons and sea breezes. Pause the video if you need more time to formulate your answers. Good luck! Ready to dive a bit deeper? At the medium level, we'll connect unequal heating to precise pressure differences and explore the mechanics of local and seasonal winds in more detail. Our journey into winds begins with the sun's energy, which is the ultimate driver. The Earth's surface heats unevenly due to two main reasons. Firstly, the equator receives more direct sunlight than the poles, creating a global temperature gradient. Secondly, land heats up and cools down much faster than water. This difference in heating rates directly impacts air density and pressure. Warm air is less dense and creates low-pressure zones, while cold air is denser and forms high-pressure zones. The fundamental principle is that wind always flows from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure, acting as nature's way of balancing these atmospheric pressures. Convection currents are the engines that drive these winds. When air over a warm surface heats up, it expands, becomes lighter, and rises. As it ascends, it cools, becomes denser, and eventually sinks back down. This continuous cycle of rising warm air and sinking cool air forms a convection current, creating both vertical air movement and horizontal wind. A perfect illustration of this is the sea breeze and land breeze phenomenon. During the day, land warms faster than the sea, causing air over land to rise and create low pressure. Cooler, denser air from the sea then flows in, creating a sea breeze. At night, the land cools faster than the sea, reversing the pressure gradient and leading to a land breeze where air flows from land to sea. Monsoons are essentially large-scale, seasonal versions of these land and sea breezes, but operating over vast continental and oceanic scales. Their primary cause is the immense difference in heating and cooling rates between entire continents and oceans over several months. During the summer monsoon, a continent like India heats up intensely, generating a strong low-pressure system. The relatively cooler Indian Ocean develops a high-pressure system. This significant pressure difference draws in vast quantities of moist, ocean air towards the land, leading to widespread and heavy rainfall, crucial for agriculture. Conversely, during the winter monsoon, the land cools rapidly, forming a high-pressure system, while the ocean remains warmer, creating a low-pressure zone. This causes dry, cool winds to blow from the land towards the ocean, resulting in clear, dry weather. Now that we've explored the medium-level concepts of unequal heating, pressure differences, convection currents, and the mechanics of sea breezes, land breezes, and monsoons, it's time to solidify your understanding. Here are 5 practice questions designed to test your knowledge. Take your time to think through each one and formulate comprehensive answers. Remember to explain the why behind each phenomenon. Good luck! Alright, let's elevate our understanding. The hard level introduces global wind patterns, the Earth's rotation, and deeper insights into monsoon dynamics. On a global scale, the Earth's spherical shape leads to uneven solar radiation. The equator receives more direct sunlight, making it warmer, while the poles receive less, making them colder. This creates a fundamental temperature gradient. Intense heating at the equator causes air to rise, forming a persistent low-pressure belt called the Intertropical Convergence Zone or ITCZ. Conversely, cold, dense air sinks at the poles, creating high-pressure zones. These large-scale pressure differences drive global wind patterns. However, these winds don't just flow directly. The Earth's rotation introduces a powerful influence known as the Coriolis effect. This apparent force deflects moving objects, including winds, to their right in the northern hemisphere and to their left in the southern hemisphere. This deflection is crucial. Without it, winds would simply blow straight from high to low pressure. The Coriolis effect is what gives global winds their characteristic curved paths and helps shape major weather systems. The interplay of unequal heating, pressure belts, and the Coriolis effect creates 3 major atmospheric circulation cells in each hemisphere. First, the Hadley cell, extending from the equator to about 30 degrees latitude, involves warm air rising at the equator, flowing poleward, cooling, and then sinking around 30 degrees. This sinking air then returns to the equator as the trade winds. Next, the Ferrel cell, between 30 and 60 degrees latitude, is a more indirect cell, where air sinks at 30 degrees, flows towards 60 degrees as westerlies, and then rises. Finally, the polar cell, from 60 to 90 degrees, sees cold, dense air sinking at the poles, flowing equatorward as polar easterlies, and rising around 60 degrees. These 3 cells work in concert to distribute heat and moisture across the globe, influencing regional climates and weather patterns. Monsoons, on the other hand, are highly localized seasonal systems, significantly influenced by the ITCZ's seasonal shift and the dramatic land-sea temperature differences. During the summer monsoon, the ITCZ shifts poleward over intensely heated land, drawing in moist ocean air and leading to heavy rainfall, often intensified by mountains. Monsoons are far more complex than simple giant sea breezes. They involve a dramatic seasonal shift in the Intertropical Convergence Zone and intricate interactions between vast land masses and oceans. During the summer monsoon, the intense heating of the continental landmass creates a powerful low-pressure system. This strong thermal low acts like a magnet, drawing in immense volumes of moist-laden air from the relatively cooler adjacent ocean. The ITCZ, a zone of intense convection, shifts poleward over the heated land, further enhancing the uplift of this moist air. As these moisture-rich winds encounter mountain ranges, they are forced upwards, leading to significant cooling, condensation, and heavy orographic rainfall, which is vital for agriculture and ecosystems in regions like the Indian subcontinent. Conversely, during the winter monsoon, the land cools rapidly, establishing a high-pressure system. The ITCZ shifts equatorward, and dry, cool winds blow from the continent towards the ocean, resulting in typically clear and dry weather. The strength and timing of these monsoons can also be influenced by global atmospheric oscillations, such as the El Niño Southern Oscillation. We've now covered global pressure belts, the Coriolis effect, atmospheric circulation cells, and a deeper analysis of monsoons. It's time to consolidate your learning with these 7 challenging practice questions. These questions require you to apply your knowledge, compare different concepts, and think critically about the interconnectedness of Earth's systems. Take your time, formulate detailed answers, and consider the broader implications of these phenomena. Good luck with this hard-level challenge. Are you ready for the ultimate challenge? The hardest level delves into the intricate physics of atmospheric dynamics, global teleconnections, and the engineering applications of wind. This is where competitive insights come into play. At this advanced level, we move beyond simple pressure gradients to understand the forces governing large-scale atmospheric flow. The pressure gradient force, or PGF, is the initial driver, pushing air from high to low pressure. However, for large-scale movements like jet streams, the Coriolis force, caused by Earth's rotation, becomes equally significant, deflecting winds. In the upper atmosphere, above the friction layer, these two forces often achieve a state of geostrophic balance, where the PGF is perfectly counteracted by the Coriolis force, causing winds to blow parallel to isobars, not across them. Near curved isobars, a third force, the centrifugal force, also plays a role, leading to what's known as gradient wind. Understanding these force balances is crucial for accurate weather prediction and modeling large-scale atmospheric circulation patterns. Furthermore, energy transfer in the atmosphere isn't just about sensible heat, latent heat. The energy absorbed or released during water's phase changes is a massive driver. Evaporation from oceans absorbs latent heat, which is then released when water vapor condenses, fueling powerful convection and storms, especially in monsoon regions. This makes convection a true heat engine of our planet, converting thermal energy differences into the kinetic energy we experience as wind. Monsoon systems are highly complex, influenced by a web of global factors, not just local land-sea heating differences. The Intertropical Convergence Zone, or ITCZ, is central to monsoon dynamics. Its seasonal migration over continents intensifies convection and rainfall. However, oceanic phenomena like the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or ENSO, and the Indian Ocean Dipole, or IOD, exert significant teleconnections, modulating monsoon strength and variability. For instance, strong El Niño events often correlate with weaker Indian monsoons. Topography, such as the Himalayas, also profoundly impacts monsoons by forcing moist air to rise and condense, resulting in intense orographic rainfall. Beyond monsoons, jet streams are critical high-altitude wind systems. These narrow bands of fast-moving air form due to strong temperature gradients and the Coriolis effect, typically at 7 to 16 kilometers altitude. They steer weather systems globally, influencing air travel and distributing heat. Their meandering patterns, known as Rossby waves, are responsible for bringing extreme weather events to various regions. Understanding these intricate interactions is vital for predicting weather and climate patterns. The principles of wind dynamics have profound engineering applications. Wind turbines, for example, are marvels of engineering designed to harness the kinetic energy of wind and convert it into electricity. Their design requires sophisticated understanding of aerodynamics to optimize blade shape for maximum energy capture, material science for durability, and control systems to adapt to varying wind conditions. In aerospace engineering, aerodynamic principles are fundamental to aircraft design, ensuring lift, minimizing drag, and maintaining stability. Similarly, civil engineers apply wind dynamics to design structures like skyscrapers and bridges to withstand extreme wind loads, prevent resonant vibrations, and ensure safety. Accurate weather forecasting, a cornerstone of modern society, relies heavily on advanced numerical weather prediction models. These models integrate vast amounts of data on wind patterns, pressure systems, temperature, and humidity, using complex algorithms to simulate atmospheric behavior. This allows for critical predictions of everything from daily weather to severe storms and long-term climate trends. The interplay of theoretical understanding and practical application is evident in all these fields, demonstrating the critical importance of comprehending wind dynamics. As we look ahead, climate change presents significant challenges to understanding and predicting future wind patterns. Global warming is projected to alter temperature gradients, potentially impacting the strength, position, and variability of critical wind systems like jet streams and monsoons. Changes in monsoon intensity and frequency of extreme rainfall events or prolonged dry spells are a major concern for regions heavily reliant on monsoon-fed agriculture and water resources. Such shifts could have cascading socio-economic and ecological impacts, affecting food security, water availability, and biodiversity. Furthermore, alterations in regional wind speeds and directions could directly impact the viability and efficiency of wind energy projects, a key component of renewable energy strategies. Therefore, a comprehensive understanding of wind dynamics, coupled with advanced climate modeling, is essential to mitigate the risks and adapt to the challenges posed by a changing climate. The legacy of studying winds continues to evolve, influencing our daily lives, technological advancements, and our planet's future resilience. You've journeyed through the most complex aspects of winds, covering atmospheric dynamics, global teleconnections, and engineering applications. Now, it's time to truly test your mastery. Here are the first 5 challenging questions. These require deep analytical thinking, integration of various concepts, and the ability to explain intricate processes. Take your time to craft comprehensive and insightful answers. This is your chance to demonstrate a truly advanced understanding of the topic. Let's continue to push your understanding to its limits with the remaining 5 questions. These questions delve into the broader implications of wind dynamics, including the impact of climate change, the interplay of various forces, and the application of scientific tools for prediction. Think critically, connect different areas of knowledge, and articulate your responses with precision. Successfully answering these questions will signify a profound grasp of how winds shape our Earth as a system. And that brings us to the end of our in-depth exploration of winds. From the simple concept of air in motion to the complex dynamics of global circulation and monsoons, we've covered a vast and fascinating topic. I hope you've gained a clearer understanding of how Earth's energy, matter, and life are interconnected through these powerful atmospheric movements. For more such engaging and comprehensive educational content, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. And if you enjoyed this session, please subscribe to our channel for regular updates and more exciting lessons. Keep learning, keep exploring, and stay curious.